For more, we're joined now by Congresswoman Diane Black, Republican from Tennessee's 6th District. Representative Black serves on the Ways and Means Committee as well as the Oversight Subcommittee that is investigating the Internal Revenue Service. Congresswoman Black, good to have you with us here on Bloomberg. Can you just describe what took place in the hearings today?
Well, today we heard from those folks who actually experienced this targeting. And the stories were just so compelling. They were chilling in some instances. In particular, one of the gentlemen who testified from my own state of Tennessee talked about how the IRS asked for the students' names of the students that he was actually working with to help them understand how our government works and about freedom and about the history of our government. That's really just chilling. I asked him, is there any reason why the IRS would need the names of particular names of the students that you're working with in order for them to make a determination? And he, of course, couldn't answer that question to the affirmative, and that's a very chilling thing.
So, Congresswoman Black, what do you make of this disclosure? Why would they ask such specific questions? I thought it was just to determine whether an organization was political in nature rather than just a nonprofit and qualifying for the 501c4 designation.
Well, we actually heard from people that were applying for a 501c3 and very much from the 501c4, but they testified because of the name being a name of an organization such as Tea Party, or indicating that it was something about prayer or about marriage, that they were also targeted. Even though it wasn't a 501c4, it was a 501c3. And it really ran the gambit from one end to the other. And again, it was chilling about the questions that they were being asked, the amount of time that it has been since they applied for the designation and had not received information. And then they had very specific names that they shared with us this time. And we are finding that those names are very similar names to what we have discovered in some of the investigations.
Kit Jukes, I'm wondering if your perspective in London, Societe Generale, is there any kind of reaction to what's been going on for the Internal Revenue Service and also reaction to the ongoing investigation of the IRS?
I think the sense you get as an outsider looking into the U.S. is that we've always believed the U.S. was a model of common sense on how you run these kind of affairs, but the only way to run a tax system is as simply as possible. Decide how much you want to tax, how steep you get, how much you take off rich people relative to poor people, companies relative to individuals, and then make it as simple as possible because you need to collect it from hundreds of millions of people. And you know, the more we see this, the more people like me scratch our head and pull out what little's left of our hair and say, I don't understand how you could make it this complex. And of course, if it's complex, there are going to be holes in it and people trying to avoid it and people trying to catch people trying to avoid it. And this is where we go with complexity. And I think it's just surprising to someone from Europe to see the United States where, you know, we kind of thought you did this better than us. And this is rather showing us that you don't.
Congresswoman Black, is there anything to improve our performance? What's next for these hearings and the Internal Revenue Service?
I think we still need to continue to dig. I think we've just seen the tip of the iceberg. The more we dig, the more we find it's there. But I think that your guest made a very good point. We in Ways and Means are attempting to do some tax reform, that we would make something that was fairer, flatter, and simpler. We've been working on this now since I was elected 2.5 years ago. And I think he makes a very good point. You know, our founding fathers never meant for our government to be the size that it is. And the larger it gets, the more unwieldy it gets. And as we have seen in this particular case, the scarier it gets.
All right, I want to thank you very much. Congresswoman Diane Black, representing Tennessee, joining us from